Jem, easy boy, easy.
The locals are making him nervous, Joe. Don't get many travellers round here, I don't reckon.
Tom and Sylvie were down last year. They said they were friendly enough. Put an open face on.
I'm already smiling so hard, my lips are white.
Try waving.
Who do you think I am? Queen Mary?
No one's going to make that mistake.
No, not with a carriage like this, then. Near enough fell to bits on the way down here.
Well, if we can make enough money in this place over the summer, we can buy a new one.
I don't see how. It's a worry we don't need and I never asked for.
Meaning?
You're the man of the place.
Have we ever gone hungry?
We're always on the scrounge just lately and I'm getting sick of it.
Look, Sylvie said they marked the houses they touched for lother last year. They cut a notch at the base of the gates of them who made them welcome.
Might not be the same people in them kenners now. Gorges move about and all, you know. You can't rely on the same people for jobs anyway.
I'll call the farms first thing in the morning. There'll be some labouring about. Edges will need trimming, trees topping.
I've got a few bits of silk and sewed lace I can take on the knock tomorrow. And I'll dig a few plants from the ditches when we get settled.
Flowers and trees might put bread on the table, but they ain't going to pay for a new wagon.
I can do a bit of duckering and all and take the pram out and call for rags.
That's if we can get the gorges out their houses in this heat.
I hope we've done the right thing by coming here. The op's start in Kent soon. My mum and dad's already down there.
That's why we've come here.
Joe, you've never got a good word to say about my people. What wrong have they ever done you?
I'm only messing about, Minor. Let's try it for a couple of weeks. If it don't pay, we'll go to Kent.
Farmers will have all the pickers they want by then.
Hey, up there, mate.
Hello, this evening.
Oh, Jem, easy boy.
Couldn't give me a hand, could you? Wheel come off my trailer in the field yonder. Got a load of shoasts need pitching back on. I'll make it worth your while. My oldie boy went to the pub for lunch and ain't come out yet.
You won't see him till closing time.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Go on, Joe. I'll take the wagon the rest of the way.
It was like a baker's oven in there.
And perspiration is so unattractive.
The whole place is unattractive. Don't you hate coming back? It's so provincial.
We are in the provinces. What do you expect?
I'm already bored to agony.
It's part of your nature to always want something new.
Is it too much to want to live and breathe? We might as well be pieces of furniture.
Well, I've never considered myself a drawing room table before.
And there's no escape at home.
Look, I know Granny might be a bit of an old nuisance.
She's a parasitic, fungoid old toad.
But she never really does anything. It isn't fair to hate her.
It's her holdover daddy I can't stand. Sometimes I think I could strangle her with one hand. What's this? Is that a gypsy woman?
Looks like it.
How fascinating.
Hold up there, Jem.
Look, she's stopping.
You two pretty young ladies out for a stroll on this lovely summer day. I reckon I've got something in the back of my wagon might interest you.
Really? Like what?
There's all sorts. Baubles, bangles and curios if you're fancy-minded. If not, then there's ornaments and decorations. Copper cups, brass pots, pewter jugs. A right little treasure trove.
Bangles? Can we see?
We're camping up in the lime quarry. Why don't you both come up and see us later? Have yourselves a proper look.
You following the crops?
Not much this year. We'll take what's going.
Early potatoes are done round here, as is a sugar beet. And the peas ain't started yet.
Have we picked the wrong time of year to come down here?
I'd say so. There's nothing doing at the minute. The strawberries have been scorched black by the sun mostly. The apples are still ripening. There'll be raspberries over Beecham Way if you can wait a while. Or guzgogs up at Brawley.
My wife don't like the thorns.
Your accent sounds familiar.
A friend of mine was down here last year. Tom Mackay.
Thought so. Yeah, him and his family helped with the plum harvest. Later in the year, though. He came from the north.
Doncaster way, same as us. We finished the tater crop on Friday.
It's a long trek in this heat.
Well, no point waiting for the rain, because it ain't going to. Was it your place that the Mackays have water?
Taps in the yard. Ollie Tree Farm. Set back from the road across the green.
Thanks. And you put the word out, I'm looking for work.
Out in particular.
Trees, edge laying. I do a bit of grinding and all, you know. Knives, shears and scissor sharpening. Some crafting and ferrying.
Horses?
Shoeing and hoof trimming. Here you go. Last one.
You fought in the war, son?
What?
Those scars on your arms look like shrapnel burns to me.
I think I'm just about done here, mate. Best be on my way.
Isaac, boy, and Levi, leave the chickens alone. Oh, I'll put it in here somewhere. Isaac, I said leave the...
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. You found us okay, then?
We know the quarries around here quite well,
We'd like to take a look at some of the goods you mentioned in the village.
unless you're too busy. In which case, we could always come back another time.
I ain't too busy at all. You ladies live in the village?
No, the vicarage. Our father is rector of Papelwig.
You must be parched riding on your bikes all the way in this heat. Here, let me get you something to drink.
You mentioned bangles.
And baubles, and there's coloured beads all the way from India.
We should like to see them.
And so you shall. But drink this first.
Oh, that is a marvellous water holder.
Solid copper, handmade by my husband.
Thank you.
You're married?
For me sins. Oh, I'm only having a laugh for you. Well, speak of the devil and he shall appear. That's me man now. Just you wait here, I won't be a second. You took your time.
I ain't got paid for it.
There's love of a kind all.
Gorge mots.
Girls from the village looking for something shiny.
And what you doing talking to me?
The tallest one likes the copper can. Tell her you can make one.
Tell yourself. I've got Jem to see to. And where are the boys?
You can see him later. Rock her into the journeyman proper is always a better sell. You know what gorges are like for the look of a thing. Come on, it won't take a minute.
Can you imagine what it must be like to live like this?
No, but I can imagine what Daddy would say if he saw us here.
Just think, you wake up one morning with an urge to move, so you simply pack up your home and go.
Like a tortoise.
Look at that box full of knickknacks. And the colours on those scarves. And what do you think's inside that tent?
Joe, say hello to these beautiful young ladies. What, come over all shy of you, Joe?
I do.
These girls were just admiring your work.
Did you really make this water holder?
I did.
It's awfully nice. How much is it?
Oh, you don't want that old one? Let my Joe make one especially for you. Might cost a little bit extra, but it'll be fresh made and personal like.
Would you be willing to do that for me?
Of course he would. Wouldn't you, Joe?
I don't see why not.
Their father's a local vicar.
He won't be much on soothsayers and duckerers then.
I don't know. His children seem like broad-minded young women.
Speaking of children,
They're in the next field.
be seeing you ladies.
What's a duckerer?
A fortune teller. I have the gift.
How much do you charge?
A shilling for each of you. And a little bit more for luck.
It's not for me. It's for my sister.
Lucille!
I'm sick of you moaning about being bored.
I'd better not.
You're afraid of something?
No, it's not that.
Then you have some secret. And you're afraid I shall say it. Come to my wagon where nobody else can hear us.
I'm not sure.
I'll wait here with the bicycles.
All right. I won't be long.
Take off your boots.
My boots?
It's bad luck for a stranger to wear boots inside on a first visit.
Oh, very well. You have some lovely things.
Travellers have Crown Derby and all, you know.
Oh, I wasn't meaning...
See that pewter jug? And the brass saucepan and the ashtray? All made by my husband. A man of many talents. He could make one or two for you if you like.
Perhaps.
Please, sit. Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you. It's wonderfully cosy in here.
Must seem like a matchbox to you. Gypsy living's done outside. We mostly only come in to sleep.
But the bed, it's so small.
I know what you're thinking. How come such a big man as Joe can fit into it?
No, I didn't mean...
Are you blushing, my dear?
Of course not. No, it's just... It's very hot in here.
Truth be told, we often sleep outside under the stars, especially on hot nights like this. Now, are you ready?
I suppose.
Your hand is soft. Never a hard day's work done.
I don't believe that's true.
A lady of study, you've travelled far across the sea.
My sister and I have lately returned from school in Europe.
And there you met a man.
I met many men.
A brown-haired man, but he was too old.
Too old for what?
Better give me that shilling first.
Very well. Here you are, but don't spin this out.
You will marry in a few years. Not now, but a few years, perhaps 4. Meanwhile, you shall have many suitors. But remember that a dark man means good luck, and a fair man means bad. And for this reason, you must be braver in the body.
My body?
Or you will lose the game. Your restless spirit seeks adventure, excitement, and yet you are running away from something.
Running away?
And there will be death.
I don't understand.
Perhaps one day you shall. Listen for the voice of water.
Must you talk in riddles?
The future is revealed in fragments. But perhaps a little bit more silver in my palm.
But I've already given you what you asked for.
It would bring prosperity and a gypsy's blessing.
This is intolerable. I must find my sister.
Wait. There's one more thing.
Well?
There is a dark man who never lived in an house. He loves you. Other people are treading on your art. They will tread on your art till you think it's dead. But the dark man will blow one spark up into a fire again. A good fire. Joe, are you awake?
I'm pow fagged, Viner.
Yeah, but how tired exactly?
Dig it out.
Maybe I can wake you.
It's been a long day.
But Joe,
Go to sleep.
2 hours pitching corn and you're good for nothing.
I've been on the road since 4 this morning.
And where have I been?
Get some rest.
How much did the Rymish give you for helping him today anyway?
£5.
That all?
They weren't bad for the time I put in.
You could have got more.
He's letting us have water. I didn't want to push too hard.
You never do.
Being civil costs nothing.
That Rackley today.
What Rackley?
The gorgy girl with it. She took a fancy to you.
Don't be a dinlow.
Her eyes near enough fell out of her head when she saw you. And you got as tongue-tied as a chavvy.
I'm married to you. You don't have to worry.
I ain't worried.
Then what's the matter?
I think we should make the best of it.
What are you rockering about?
You don't have to do nothing, just kid her along. Smile. Take opportunities, loosen her up a bit.
What do you mean?
Until she coughs up some lover. Then we move on.
Until she coughs up some. You ain't all there.
Might even be a new wagon in it if you play it right.
How'd you make that out?
There was a 10 bob note in her purse.
10 bob ain't gonna buy a new wagon.
Where there's 10, there might be more is what I mean. And if she ain't got it, her family has.
Why would she give me money?
She looked ready to give you a lot more than that.
Finer.
It's worth a try is all I'm saying.
It ain't right.
Neither is dragging me to this hole in the middle of nowhere. Or living from hand to mouth like a family of dossers. Or soaking up to gorger breeds for next to nixes.
Keep your voice down, or you'll wake the children.
Look, Joe, nobody's gonna get hurt. We get a new wagon out of it and the girl has a bit of fun. Lord knows she looks as if she could do with it. I mean, what harm could it do?
You?
Lady? I was doing a job in the village this morning and someone said there might be work needs doing here. Roof repair?
Oh, you mean the loose tiling near the chimney?
I could see the damage myself from the road.
Daddy's been promising to fix that for months.
Perhaps I could have a word with him about it.
He won't be back till tea time.
The lady of the house, then? Your mother?
I have no mother.
Yvette? Who is it?
A craftsman.
Who?
A man who makes things.
Well, tell him to come in.
I'm sorry. Do you mind? She loves company, but very few people come to call. Just this way.
Yvette!
Shh. Granny, this is Joe. I'm sorry, but I don't know your last name.
Boswell.
Mr. Boswell.
Mr. What did you say? You must excuse me, I'm a little deaf.
Boswell.
This is my grandmother, Mrs. Saywell.
How'd you do?
Your hands are rough and coarse, and yet I would say they were the hands of a craftsman. You're not from our parish.
Not exactly.
Yvette, aren't you going to introduce Mr. Boswell to your sister?
We have already met.
And when was this? Why exactly are you here, Mr. Boswell?
Your roof. The tiles are hanging loose. If you'll step outside, Mrs. Saywell, I'll show you.
That's impossible.
It won't take a minute.
Mr. Boswell, you don't understand. My grandmother is completely blind. Do you suppose he followed us here?
Don't be ridiculous.
But he knows we live at the vicarage and found his way to our door the very next day.
He was simply out looking for work. In any case, it's disgusting.
What's that? The roof is disgusting.
Not the roof, the man.
Well, what do you expect in this heat?
I'm just as hot as he is, but I'm not walking around half naked.
What are you talking about?
Mr. Boswell is working in just his trousers and boots.
You mean without a shirt?
Labourers do it all the time.
Describe it to me.
You want me to describe what Mr. Boswell looks like without his shirt on?
No, you silly girl. The work he's doing on the roof.
I couldn't possibly. I have no knowledge of these matters, Granny.
Useless girl. Mr. Boswell, is the roof as bad as you thought?
It's even worse. Timber's rotted all the way through.
Oh, how dreadful. Will it take long to fix?
Hard to say.
If Mr. Boswell catches you watching him, we shall never rid ourselves of the man.
Stop that childish whispering at once. That will be your father.
Now, let me get this straight. Not only did you invite a gypsy into the house, but you've given him a job fixing the roof.
I didn't know he was a gypsy at the time, but yes.
And why did you take it upon yourself to do that, Mater? Mater, I said...
I heard you. Yvette surveyed the dilapidation and said we were all lucky to be alive.
And he saw the damage from the road?
After Mrs. Conway told him it was in a state of disrepair.
I was getting around to it myself.
Well, now we have an expert.
Oh, so he's a roofing specialist as well as a craftsman.
It's all the same thing in a roundabout way.
We'll see about this.
He is fixing the roof, and that's final.
But, Mother...
Oh, would you prefer to see me lying dead in the garden?
Of course
My
not.
head split open by a fallen tile? Could you live with that on your conscience?
No,
Well,
but-
then, let's hear no more about it. Is your Sunday afternoon sermon still to be written?
It is, but I don't see what that's
Then I
got to
would
do...
suggest that you get on with your job and let Mr. Boswell proceed with his.
Finding loose wood in the quarry is enough to make you curse God. Clear a place so I can pile this wood up with you boys.
Lighting fires in this heat didn't seem right.
See, you've got the basket ready for calling tomorrow.
Put a few sprigs of rowan and juniper together. It ain't much, but one of us has got to put scran on the table.
There's no need to fret about that. Got myself a job for the summer.
Take oath.
Roof of the rectory's half rotten.
Directory.
Aye. Just happened to need fixing.
Oh, yeah. The vicar know he's paying a fox to mend the chicken coop.
It ain't up to him. The mother wears the rhinos in that place and she wants me.
Bet she does. You see the girl? Joe?
I saw her.
What did she say?
Not a lot.
Does she know her mother's after you now and all?
It's not her mother.
Eh?
It's the vicar's mother. An old lady. The girl said she didn't have no mother.
Toadie. And gorgeous called travellers twisted.
Yvette, must you constantly gaze out of the window like the Lady of Shalott? Now stand still or I'll never get it finished.
I can hardly see the point of having a party dress at all.
Oh, how considerate of you, after I've gone to all the trouble of buying bundles of silk.
I'm sure I could find some other use for it.
Like what? Yvette, what in heaven's name are you doing?
It's a headscarf. Look, and it's the same colours as the one the Gypsy wore.
Take it off now, or I promise I shall prick you.
You're such a bore.
It's better to be a bore than a figure of gossip. Look, it's been left to us to be even more respectable in our behaviour. We have the stigma of our mother's actions to overcome.
Why must I always come home to have my nerves rubbed to a frenzy?
Why should everybody put up with your abominable and overbearing temper?
I loathe the rectory with a loathing that consumes my life. Get off! No! Lucille! She's here.
Who?
The Gypsy woman.
Where?
At the gate. See for yourself through the window. She's coming down the path.
Can I interest you in anything today, sir? I've got shoelaces, pegs, coloured trinkets.
No, thank you.
There's braided yarn for luck. And silver charms.
I'm rather busy at the moment.
Keen gardener, I see.
Well, yes. It's the peace and tranquility I most enjoy.
Nice scent around here, I must say.
That will be the roses.
Shame about the whiff of sulphur from the works yonder. Who's my Joe about?
Your Joe?
Boswell. I'm his wife.
Ah, I had a feeling you might be related. You'll find him on the roof. I believe there's a ladder to the side of the house.
You're like a cat on hot bricks.
Just trying to see.
Be careful of the mirror on the piano.
I can almost see.
Daddy sees you spying.
I'm not spying. I'm just trying to catch a glimpse.
Come away from there.
Lucille! Let go!
What's going on in here?
Yvette will not come away from the window.
Oh, what on earth is all this mess on the floor? I'm ankle deep in litter.
Lucille is making me a dress, Granny.
It doesn't sound like dressmaking to me. What were you doing at the window?
Well,
Staring at the shirtless Mr. Boswell again?
No!
That's the second time I've caught you lusting after the man.
But, Granny,
I'm
I really
actually on the piano.
You see, I was just
Get
trying...
down from there this instant.
Oh.
Ain't much of a gentleman, that vicar, is he? You think he'd have offered to hold the ladder for me?
Probably knows you're already a fallen woman.
How's things going with you and little Miss Innocent?
I told you. I'm just doing honest work for honest pay. I ain't interested in any of your swindling.
It ain't swindling. It's looking after your family and doing what's best.
Best for who?
You swore a wicked oath to take care of us and not just to me. Or have you forgotten that?
No. I ain't forgotten who I swore an oath to.
Then stop acting like it and do what's right for me and mine. Dick here. Oh, look at this.
Living in this place with a lot of beastly people is simply awful! At least some of us don't have a half-depraved stock.
Half-depraved stock?
No idea.
Perhaps you should go and comfort her.
I'd better get out of the way for the day. Start afresh tomorrow.
What's all this? More glad rags?
I asked Yvette to clear up the mess and she told me to shut up. She then smashed the mirror and ran from the room in tears.
She'll apologise when she calms down.
I don't want an apology. Honestly, I don't know what she'll come to with nerves like that at her age. And she's got noticeably worse over the last few days.
And what do you think is the cause?
I'm not certain, but we shall have to watch her very closely from now on.
Morning, Mr. Boswell.
Miss Sewell,
I wasn't sure if you were working today. May I come in?
it's your loft.
Oh, I rather need to escape. I haven't been up here since I was a child.
Careful of the beams.
Oh. Will you have time to replace those tiles before the rain comes?
The sun will shine for a while yet.
Oh, my. Don't things look different from up here?
They do.
I've never noticed those twisted fruit trees. Reaching awkwardly for the sun, I suppose.
Flowers still lay wide open, though. Bees rolling in them.
Nature, taking its course.
Finds its own way. Like we all have to. I found this among the mullock over there. I thought it probably belonged to you or your sister.
A watch? It's not mine. Or Lucille's.
Your grandmother's, then?
No. It's my mother's.
Looks valuable. It's broken, but I could fix it easy. Wouldn't cost much.
I haven't seen it in many, many years. Midnight.
What's that?
The watch. It stopped at midnight. Look.
Or midday. Either way, I can...
No, I'm sure it was night. Well, a feeling, anyway. I wonder what she was doing at that very moment. Can I be candid with you?
You can be what you want.
I suppose you heard the argument yesterday.
It's difficult not to.
The depraved stock Granny mentioned.
Is your mother?
How did you...
Because her name is never mentioned, but her presence is everywhere. It's like having a coffin under the bed.
She isn't dead.
No?
My mother's behaviour... Well, it was somewhat fantastic. She ran off, you see, with a penniless young man when Lucille and I were children.
Where is she now?
No one knows. We haven't heard anything since the day she left.
And your father just let her go?
There wasn't much he could do. Poor Daddy was let down with such a bang. To him, she was as white as the driven snow. He called her his snowflower.
And now?
Now it's she who was Cynthia. All illusions shattered. He can never quite forgive her.
What about you?
Oh, I admire her fearlessness in a way. She belongs to a higher, more dangerous, immoral world. A world such as yours, perhaps.
You think being a gypsy makes me immoral?
Well, aren't you? A man of morals would have put his shirt back on the moment I entered the loft.
Did you want me to?
The way you look at me sometimes. Now, for instance. No one else I know would dare look at me like that.
Because all the men you know are Ken or Jugs.
I don't understand.
House dogs. Anything worth having's been schooled out of them. They're as tame as canaries.
I'll admit there's part of me which they don't seem to see.
And they never will. They don't know how to look at a woman. Or how to touch her.
I think perhaps it's time for me...
Can I be candid with you, Miss Saywell? Your father is a coward man. A born slave. It's why he's got nothing but contempt for free-born people like your mother.
Unlike you.
And you.
Me?
What's inside you scares the hell out of him. And the old woman.
I fear you've quite misunderstood the situation.
It's no good waiting for people to live your life for you. You've got to play your own game.
My game?
There's nothing worse for free-born people than slavery.
You think I'm a slave?
You're wearing a collar, sure enough.
I wear no collar, Mr. Boswell. Not now, not ever. But if we're talking slavery, perhaps you should take a look at yourself.
Meaning?
Your wife runs rings round you. I could tell from the first instance.
You don't know what you're talking about.
And you can't see what's in front of you. Here, look at my neck. Do you see a collar?
Yvette? Is that you up there?
Lucille?
Come down here quickly. Daddy's looking for you.
Well, what have you to say for yourself?
I'm not sure I understand.
I hear you have been to their camp.
You mean the Boswells?
Of course he means the Boswells.
How did you come to meet them?
But you've already spoken to Lucille.
And now we should like to hear it from you, as they do seem more your sort.
Well, they are, really. They're awfully solid.
and honest.
You've got a peculiar notion of honesty.
And I know where she gets it from.
What takes you creeping round such couples? Aren't there enough respectable people in the world for you to know? Anyone would think you were a stray dog, having to run round indecent couples because the decent ones wouldn't have you.
But you can't say that.
I think Yvette should sleep with me in my bed tonight.
What?
Well, I see no alternative if you're to remain pure. I clearly made a mistake by inviting Mr. Boswell into this house.
But you don't mean...
Mr. Boswell will be dismissed first thing tomorrow morning.
So you'll stay with me until the risk has gone.
This is ridiculous. Daddy, you must make her see sense.
Mother, I'm not sure that will be necessary, at least not yet.
Can I at least know them?
You can know them if you wish, but you must not expect to associate with your Granny and Lucille if you do. I cannot have them contaminated.
Sure.
Listen to your father.
You have to choose between clean people and reverence for your Granny's blameless old age and people who are unclean in their minds and their bodies.
Yvette? Yvette, you still awake?
He has no belief in me. I am really nothing to him. Only a shameful thing.
We must accept Daddy's conception of people. He will always play up to appearances, and we must do the same.
Why must we?
Because we have to live. It is useless to quarrel with one's bread and butter.
I don't see why a woman shouldn't eat her cake and have her bread and butter.
For heaven's sake, you'd think Mr. Boswell was a perfect bird of paradise.
When he looks at me, it's as if he sees me not from the outside, but from within. As if he spies some secret that I didn't even know I possessed. My whole body aches. I lie here, half destroyed, and yet I've never felt so much alive.
Yvette, you shouldn't speak so. That's what made Mother... You'd better get some sleep now. Good night.
Mrs. Boswell,
Didn't think we'd be seeing you again.
I'm really sorry for what happened yesterday. I had no part in it.
What? Not even a little bit?
My father had no right to dismiss your husband.
Rights don't come into it for people like us.
What will you do now?
You'd best be on your way. I've got washing to do.
I should like to speak to your husband.
He ain't here.
Where can I find him?
You can't?
But I have to see him. It's urgent.
What would you be wanting with him now?
Well, it's just that... You
Private, is it?
I want to tell him I'm sorry.
I can pass that on.
I should like to tell him myself.
In person, like.
I feel awfully bad about the way things were left.
I see. Bacca?
Sorry?
Tobacco, would you like a smoke? I've got a spare pipe in the wagon if you want.
No, thank you. I'm in a hurry. If you could just tell me where Joe is.
He'd be down by the river about now, with Jem.
Jem?
The horse.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. You shine like a starry now, Jem. Yep, clean as a new pin. Looks like a change in the weather, boy. And you know what that means.
Mr. Boswell?
Well, what do you reckon she wants, eh?
I was looking for you, further down the river. What were you saying to him? To Jem?
That it's time for us to move on.
But you can't go.
It's for the best.
What you said in the house about me being a slave...
I spoke out of turn.
Oh, we both did. But we were both right, weren't we?
Either way, it's time I was gone. Come on, Jem.
Everything's changed now.
Not for me.
You know that's not true.
Look, even if I wanted things different...
They could be.
You don't understand.
Oh. Joe, wait.
What are you doing?
I can't breathe. In these clothes. In this heat.
Don't. Yvette!
No man has ever seen me naked before. Why don't I feel ashamed?
What do you feel?
Like diving in.
But the current's too strong. Yvette, no. Some things are more important than...
Love,
I can't explain it.
the children.
Even more than them.
Kiss me, Joe. Kiss me.
Someone's here.
My clothes.
It's too late. Stay in the water.
Joe?
Major Eastwood.
Your wife told me I'd find you here, but I see you're otherwise occupied.
But, how did you know? I mean, where? Major, I thought that...
Why don't we meet at the local pub? The Swan, is it? At Papelwick? At, say, 7?
Aye, but...
I'll explain it all then. Good day to you, miss.
Yvette,
I'm all right.
we can't just leave it.
Please. I have to go.
Well, if it ain't the other Miss Saywell. You come looking for your sister?
No, I should actually like to speak to you.
You're just in time for dinner.
No, really, I couldn't.
Come and eat something along with us. It's stew and beans and mutton in it.
Honestly, no.
Otherwise, you'll have to come back later. We don't like people watching us eat.
Well, all right, just a little then, if I may.
There's a bowl of water there if you want to wash your hands.
No, I think not. They're clean.
Turn the crate on its side and take a seat. Make yourself at home. Children, shift up a bit and give this good lady some room. Best eat up quick by the look of that sky. Otherwise you're going to get a soaking on your way home. I've got some new bits and bobs in the wagon though, might interest you before you go.
How old are your children?
Young Isaac's 4, and Levi there, 3.
Isaac looks like his father.
How would you know? You never seen him?
Sorry?
They ain't Joe's children.
Oh.
Have I shocked you?
Does Yvette know? Has Joe told her?
Why would he?
Because Yvette believes he's in love with her? You don't think it's possible?
Let's just say I've got me doubts.
I do hope you're right. But the way he looks at her sometimes... You've seen it yourself.
She's a pretty girl.
It's more than that. Surely you can tell.
Well, I suppose all that travelling and learning might make her a bit exotic to a man like Joe, but...
I know she seems a little spoilt and naive, but she's terribly stubborn. And once she sets her mind on a thing, well... I'm worried she may be trying to emulate our mother, but doesn't quite understand the consequences of her actions. In many ways, we've been sheltered from real life at school, in the village, but
This
now,
is Joe's home.
I'm awfully concerned.
He's got responsibilities.
I think she wants to run away with him.
Run away?
You've got to tell him to keep away from her. She's already in all kinds of trouble at home.
Then you tell her to stay away from him.
I've already told her, but she won't listen to me. She won't listen to anyone, not even to Daddy.
Then maybe your father will listen to me.
Looks like you just made it in time. The heavens are about to open. What can I get you?
Light and bitter, please, Major.
We're not in the army now, Joe. No need for formalities. It's David.
David.
Or just plain Eastwood, if you prefer. Pint of brown and mild, please, barman, and a light and bitter.
You're welcome to drink here, sir, but your friend will have to leave.
I'm sorry.
No gypsies served in here.
I didn't see a sign in the window.
Nothing but trouble.
We can talk easier outside.
I told this man I'd buy him a drink, and that's exactly what I intend to do.
Not in this pub.
Now listen here. This man fought alongside me at Passchendaele. Best horseman I ever saw and the bravest on the battlefield. He fought for his country, yours and mine. Damn it, he saved my life. Now, are you going to serve him a drink, or do I have to come behind the bar and pull him a pint myself? I'm sorry about that.
Ain't your doing.
You don't look surprised.
We're outsiders. Weak people like conformity, and we'll never yield to that.
Well, here's to rule breakers. I'm sorry I caught you by surprise at the river like that.
Like seeing a ghost.
I almost was.
Truth be told, I never knew whether you ended up alive or dead.
It was touch and go in the infirmary for the first 3 months. I don't even remember the blast.
But you remember me?
Not exactly. I was simply told that a tall, swarthy-looking man with a pencil moustache dragged me from the rubble. I knew it must be you.
How long were you in hospital?
6 months. Then another 2 years in rehabilitation.
So the war was over by the time you got out?
And I promised myself I would find the man who saved me and thank him personally. I was sorry to hear your brother Isaac didn't make it.
He died in the same blast.
I didn't know that. Was he killed outright?
Don't know. I found his body when I got... back from taking you to the medical officer.
You mean if you hadn't saved me, you might have saved him?
We'll never know.
Do you harbour any blame toward me?
Not toward you. Vina. The woman at the wagon, she was Isaac's widow. In my culture, if a man's responsible for the death of his brother, he's duty-bound to honour his brother's commitments. That's the only way I can try and make it right.
But you're not responsible for what happened.
Vina tells it different.
And you love her? Vina?
That ain't rightly the point.
Not the point. Look, I know this is none of my business, but the girl in the river, I sensed there was more between you than just, well...
First time I saw her, it was like being hit by a fire-stick grenade. I didn't know where I was. When I came round to myself, Vina suggested we mace her. I mean, play her along, make a few bob out of her, like. I tried my best, but I just couldn't do it. You see, when we talked, I got to know her a bit. There's a lot to her, inside, I mean. She's tender and kind. Mixed up, aye, but straight and real. Her warmth steadies me somehow.
That warmth sounds like love.
It can't be. I'll not let it be.
Joe?
I've got obligations, Major. There's more to it than... Well, it's a traveller's thing. You break the code and you're an outcast, stigmatised, both you and your family. There's no going back. Thing is, I think I could probably take all that, but betraying Isaac's memory, that's something I could never live with.
Look, I wouldn't even pretend to know anything about your people. But what I do know is you couldn't possibly have saved Isaac. You took a split-second decision in hell's inferno. You've done nothing wrong.
So you say.
If you don't love Vina, you're not doing her any favours either, you know. Look, it's really not for me to say, but I'm sure Isaac would understand. We all deserve at least one moment of happiness, Joe. Take it from a man who came back from the dead.
You took your time.
I need a towel.
You've been at the river all this while. Who was the man in the car?
A farmer. Wants a job doing.
Didn't dick much like a farmer to me. Had more the look of a gatherer about him. Or a soldier.
Perhaps he was in years gone by.
The girl was here.
I know.
I mean the older one.
What did she want?
To tell me you was in love with her sister. Well?
You best leave it.
Pensa Benges go down.
I've told you before.
She rocketed you was gonna run off like a couple of teenagers.
I'm married to you.
Tell me, Joe. Tell me you weren't even thinking, oh, my mother's life.
Why not?
You Buckaramengo.
This is all you're doing.
First your brother, now me and the children.
You see what your plans and your schemes have
Ain't
got.
enough you'd see your brother dead for one of them.
Your taunts and your
But to
lies.
send Isaac to the bang, his soul in the torments of hell. That's something I can't let go.
I'll carry it with me till my dying day.
And you think I won't? It's with me now, plain as day I remember it, in this wagon. You sat there and Isaac there.
Fine.
Night before you marched off, 2 tin soldiers fighting a gorgeous war.
It ain't no use.
I put the beeswax in your hands, I trusted you. Anything happened to my man, you cover his wounds with this before he dies, I said, and the devil won't get him. And while you were saving your gorgeous friend, evil seeped into my husband through the ripped and torn open holes in his body.
Enough! Don't you think that
He ain't at peace, Joe. His soul can't rest. And now you want to leave me and his children for that bit of... Well, you ain't going to. I've made sure of that.
What do you mean? What's happened? What have you done?
Paid the vicar and his family a little visit. Told them exactly what their daughter is and what she's worth. Said she'd enticed you into their home and has been on your scent like a bitch ever since. They didn't need much convincing.
You don't know what you've done.
I want us packed up and away from here first thing in the morning.
I've had about as much as this as I can take.
What's that supposed to mean? What are you doing?
What's it look like?
Don't go to a jar or I take oath! Cursed Jana Moggity Manushta Manushi, Battle Corality of a Gypsy Johoni. May your blood be soaked in deviltry and torment your lives away!
You brought him here!
No!
I gave you the benefit of the doubt, and this is how you repay me!
We have done nothing sordid.
Liar.
If she says she has done nothing sordid.
Hypocrite! Has he laid a hand on you?
Of course not.
Look at me!
Daddy, please don't make me.
Oh, dear God, that awful gypsy woman was right.
Your mother was a foul nettle of lust, and her daughters are no different. I did not believe it possible that anyone could defile this family more than her. I was wrong.
Lying is in your blood. And perhaps something worse. She who was Cynthia was much like this before going off with her young sponge.
And why did she go? He had no money. Perhaps he offered something she could not get here.
What are you saying?
Perhaps he was a man who knew how to love her.
There is lustful depravity in you.
What is it me?
You know best yourself what you have got. But it is something you had best curb, and quickly, if you don't intend to finish up in a criminal lunacy asylum.
Daddy, no.
What have I done?
That is between you and your maker. I shall never ask, but certain tendencies end in criminal lunacy unless they are curbed in time.
Is it criminal to be in love?
Dear heaven, you are mad. Don't say any more. You've said too much to implicate you. I don't want to learn any more horrors.
But what horrors?
You selfish little beast!
Oh, why don't you lie down and die?
You go too far, Yvette.
Can't you see? This is a stagnant, cesspit sort of life.
Yvette, I will kill you before you shall go the way of your mother.
Let go of me!
Yvette! Yvette, come back here!
Yvette!
Joe!
You know me, Joe. You know who I am.
Yes. Yes, I do. I need to fetch Jen. Find somewhere to shelter from the rain, and I'll be back in half an hour.
Joe? What is it?
Listen.
Why have the birds stopped singing?
We've got to get out of here.
You're scaring me.
Give me a hand.
The ground's shaking. Joe, what's that?
Water. A giant wave. It's going to take everything down. Run! We've got to get back to the house.
We're not going to make it! We're going to drown! Joe!
Yvette! Just keep your head above the water. Put your arms around my neck. Come on. Come on, we're nearly there. We've got to keep going. We're almost to the terrace. Get to the steps.
I can't go any further!
Hurry. We've got to get to the top of the stairs.
Granny, in the water below!
She's dead. There's nothing we can do.
Granny!
The water's taken her, Yvette. She's gone. The house is coming down. Where's the chimney? The back chimney. Which room? The chimney will stand.
In here! My room, right here! We're going to die here!
We're not.
We're going to die!
We're not. This here will stand. The chimney will not fall. Get out of your clothes.
But...
Now, Yvette, or you'll freeze. That's it. Come on, get into bed. It's all right. It's all right. The water's going down. It's going to be all right.
Warm me, please. Or I shall die of shivering.
Come here. Come on. There you go.
Daddy! Lucille!
Yvette, it's okay. It's okay, you were dreaming. They've both been spared. They're among the villagers on the way here now from Gants Hill.
You're dressed. You've been outside.
People will be coming soon. The water's only just clearing. They can't find me here.
Where are you going?
The camp's on higher ground, but I've got to be sure that Vina and the children are safe.
But you're coming back.
Death always makes things different.
You mean Granny. But you couldn't have saved her.
I've got my own ghost to face. I can't just walk away.
You don't need to face them alone.
But I do need to do it in my own way.
And your own way doesn't include me.
We can't stay here. The house is likely to fall.
What did cause the flood?
The reservoir burst up in Papal Highdale.
Vina said there would be death, and that I should listen for the voice of water.
Happens Vina's right more than we give her credit for.
Are you going back to her? Is that where you're going?
Your father will need you here.
Joe. What's the river? The orchard? Really, only yesterday.
Goodbye, Yvette.
Goodbye, Joe.
Joe! I thought... I didn't know what to think.
The children.
Teasing the dog. The water didn't reach up this far.
You're all packed up.
But I couldn't go. Joe, the cat.
The flood had nothing to do with it.
But...
Forget it.
How can I?
It's done.
Is it?
Bye now. Last night...
I don't want to know what you've done. You're back now. And that's all that matters.
No. No, it ain't. The water's changed things. We need to start afresh. If we're going to start at all. There's lessons here, and we've got to learn them. Perhaps then we can think about moving on.
Joe was played by Samuel Edward Cook, Viner by Candy